Here's how I make colloidal silver, a simple and easy way. First, I start with my pure silver rods, which I have tested to make sure they're pure with nickel alert. It turns pink if there's any nickel in it. First thing, if you've used the rods before, it's good to take a fresh Brillo pad, scrub off any oxidation. Until they're clean and shiny, like so. Then I use a glass jar, which I have already filled with pure distilled water, which I have also tested with a water meter to make sure that it is pure. Next part of the process, I put the rods in an inch apart. Just helps the process start a little bit easier. And then as the silver ions build up in the water, then I will separate them. This is a homemade unit that I built. It's basically just 3 9-volts, some Amazon switched fuse holders, and then I soldered everything together, and it goes up to alligator clips. The wires I used on this are a bit stiff. I'm probably going to use some finer wire for the next ones. Okay. And put it in, turn them on, which I've already done, and let it sit. I usually let it sit for about an hour, hour and a half. As this runs, I'll time lapse it so that you can see the silver ions forming in the water. One last thing I like to do is test the voltage with just a cheap little voltmeter, just to make sure that everything is as it should be. Let's see if I can position this so you can see it. Okay. And there we go, 28 volts. Has fresh 9 volts in there. And now we wait. Okay, here's the reaction at half hour. You can see the rods have changed color, and the reaction is starting to form in the water. You probably can't see it very well, but it's just starting to form a small cloud in there. So now we'll run it for another half hour, and there should be enough in the water that I can point a laser in there and show it to you. Okay, so here we are at an hour, and now you can see the silver really starting to build up on the anode, which is the negative. You can see it along here. And that's what the reaction is. It's an anode and a cathode. Basically the silver is trying to travel from the negative over to the positive and getting trapped in the water. So this is going to be a good strong batch. So I think I'm going to let it run for another half hour. Let me go grab my laser though, and I'll show you the silver in the water itself. Just a moment. it back, and you can actually start seeing a little cloudiness in the water now. Might show it better with the light. There you can see it between the rods. And so now if I shine the laser in there, yeah, you can see the laser starting to be able to form through the cloudy solution there. When I'm all done, I'll give it a good stir, then let anything settle out, any larger pieces, and then it'll be good to go. And it'll probably be somewhere in the ballpark of 10 to possibly a little bit more than that, but about 10 parts per million in about an hour and a half. That's what I get. Different people have different results, but that's what it works out for me. So anyway, we'll see you in a minute. Oh, one more thing I forgot to add, just a side note. When it builds up like that, just to speed up the production, I'll shut the unit off and go ahead and pull the rods out and just wipe off any excess with your fingers, and then you can put it back in the solution. Give it a little stir if you want, and then you get some. It just speeds up the production a little bit. So anyway. Okay, so it's been an hour and a half. Silver should be done, so I'm going to go ahead and shut the silver generator off here. Pull the rods out. Give it a stir. Just a whisk I keep around just for the silver. That'll settle out any large particles to the bottom of it, which I generally just leave in the bottom of the container. And now you can see the line through it, which you don't see with standard water or purified water. The line is the reflection off the silver particles, which you can't actually see with the naked eye. And by the time it gets a line through it, it's doing pretty good. Let me hit it with a flashlight. Maybe you can actually see it in there as well. You're seeing some of the large particulates there. That those will settle out, and you can strain it through a coffee filter, as some other people have suggested as well, if you would like. I prefer to use the unbleached filters for that, just so you don't lose too much of your silver, and so it doesn't neutralize any of it. And then the last thing, I like to use glass containers, and the best I've come up with for the money is either, I like these kombucha bottles here. I prefer either brown or green, as it resists UV and the silver seems to last a little longer. And then that, or like your standard mineral water bottle. This one I just haven't taken the label off yet. Anyway, so that's about all there is to it. Feel free to leave any questions in the comment sections below, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Thanks. Bye.